Hello, my name is Liz Partsch,
I'm Rachel Wagoner,
and welcome to Farm and Dairy's Weekly Rundown.
where we run down this week's top stories.
Yeah. All right, Rachel, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, I'm going to kick us off. And first, I'm going to say I'm here this week instead of Paul because Paul had a very long day yesterday and late night reporting the story that I'm about to tell you briefly about. But if you want to read all about it, I really encourage everyone to get the paper or to go online to read this. So, Liz, there was a series of disturbing events last weekend at a lake in Tuscarawas County that led to the deaths of two people. 45-year-old Marcus Miller and his son, 4-year-old Vincent Miller. According to the sheriff's office, Marcus Miller was last seen in the early hours of August 23rd after attempting to swim in Atwood Lake because he believed it would prove his devotion to God. And later that day, Marcus's wife, Ruth Miller, threw their son, their young 4-year-old son, into the lake. She later told investigators that she cast him into the lake as an offering to God. There's a lot going on there. Yeah, so the boy's body was found that evening, the evening of August 23rd, by divers, and Marcus's body was found in the lake the next morning. And all of this played out in the campground area of Atwood Lake Park, which was full of people who were there to enjoy, one of the last summers before school starts, the last summer weekends before school starts. So there were witnesses to a lot of this chaos that was happening. Much of it which played out, some of it in the early morning hours, but some of it later in the morning. And I know that's a brief description, but if you really just need to read the full story to get the grasp of it. But that's what Paul was doing. He was out covering this story because it happened at a lake. The family was Amish, which I failed to mention. Should have said that to begin with. They were an Amish family from Holmes County vacationing there at the lake. And then all of this transpired.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like one of those moments where I don't really know what to say.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Just go read the story, everyone. You'll get all the details there. And we'll probably be talking about this story more as time goes on. I doubt this will be the last time that we end up covering it.
Yeah. This almost feels like a crime podcast now.
Yeah, it will be soon. There'll be a Netflix documentary on this, I'm almost certain.
They could use this audio, too.
They can invite Paul to speak.
Wow. Okay. Well.
Okay, I know. So on to something less horrible.
Yeah,
Most of the stories in the paper this week are not that bad.
Yeah. Well, people should check that one out, though, to get the scoop. That sounds interesting and interesting. Anyway, well, this week I wrote about a grazing workshop I attended at Conkle Family Farms last week.
See, this is much later news. This is good.
Yes, this is definitely later news. Pete Conkle, third generation farmer and program director for the Columbiana Soil and Water Conservation District, was there discussing kind of the ins and outs of his rotational grazing operation on his beef farm. Conkle transitioned from growing row crops to rotational grazing in 2010, which he has said he's really just created a lot of benefits for him, including, improved soil health, increased forage production, and a diversity of wildlife and plants, or an increased diversity of wildlife and plants on his farm. Yeah, and at the workshop, Conkle and others kind of just discussed how forage and water play a role in rotational grazing and how to kind of, factor that in to your setup. The workshop also talked about the importance of native plants and pastures, as well as which can attract predatory animals that eat flies, which I thought was kind of cool. Didn't know that. Yeah. And then they also talked about how to fight invasive species, which obviously is a problem.
So how do you do it? What's the best way?
They said pretty much herbicide. It's a necessary evil in a way because, these some of these like multiflora rows, they're very hardy and
it's impossible.
It's like impossible to rip them out. You have to treat them actually in the fall and spring, I guess, because the roots, they're taking in energy in the fall and spring. And that's
okay.
The best
so
time.
You want them to take in the herbicide like when they
can
soak it in the best.
Yeah,
okay.
They can soak it in the best. It's like more effective. But yeah, so to read more about the workshop and how to, in rotational grazing and all that, readers can visit Farm and Dairy or, pick up your paper.
Yeah, this one's on the front. This is the big story on the front with a really nice photo. And thanks, Liz, for going out to that workshop.
Always fun. Always fun.
At least you didn't get sent to a crime scene in Tuscarawas County.
Yeah, I think this is a definitely more relaxing story. So
Yeah. So speaking of sending Paul places, Paul also went to the Geauga County Fairgrounds, where they just cut the ribbon on a new youth and livestock center. The ribbon on the big red barn was cut during a ceremony on August 24th. In the past, apparently, animal auctions at Geauga County were held in outdoor tents that were sometimes blown over by severe weather, which happens a lot in the summer whenever the fairs are going on. But this big new building will not get blown over by the wind, knock on wood. The facility cost around $1 million. Much of that money came from the county through federal COVID relief dollars, but the fair board also raised money, I believe. And you can read more about that in the paper. You can see some photos of the building online and on the paper. And the Geauga County Fair kicks off this Thursday, August 28th, and runs through Labor Day. And Farm and Dairy will have a booth there. So if anyone wants to stop by and chat with whoever is in the booth and pick up a paper and maybe buy a subscription or buy a T-shirt, come on down to the Geauga County Fair.
Our T-shirts are very soft. I can attest to that.
And they're affordable at the low, low price of $15, which is really nice for a soft T-shirt, I have to say.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of T-shirts are rough nowadays, not good quality.
No, and they don't wash well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Get yourself a T-shirt, everyone. All right, well, small but mighty is a common term, right?
Yeah.
Well, that best describes Moser Woods Tree Farm this year, which is the recipient of the 2025 Ohio Tree Farm of the Year Award.
Nice.
Yeah. So in this week's paper, I wrote about Chris Moser's journey managing his 12-acre woodlot that would later win him, this recognition of Ohio from the Ohio Tree Farm Committee. So beyond, Chris, the Moser family involvement in managing this small woodlot actually dates back to his grandfather in the 1950s. So long time ago.
Nice.
And this legacy kind of continued with his dad and then eventually him in 2000 when he moved back home. Chris and his father started removing invasive species and harvesting timber for firewood, small management practices. But his efforts would really start ramping up in 2018 when Tom Mills, an Ohio Tree Farm Committee member, came out to his farm to recertify the woodlot as an Ohio tree farm. And around this time, he also started applying for funding through the U.S. Department of Agriculture's EQUIP program, known as the Environmental Quality Incentives Program, to plant oak trees. So oak trees are, greatly beneficial for wildlife and humans. The acorns provide just a high nutrient value to animals, and oak is apparently one of the best timber, qualities for,
They make a lot of stuff out
They
of
make
oak.
a lot of stuff. Yeah, it's good, hardy wood. But there's a huge problem in the past several decades. Less and less oak trees are being seen in forests as shade-tolerant trees like sugar maples outcompete them. Because oak seedlings need a lot of sunlight, but yeah, they're not getting that because of these shade-tolerant oak trees, which I'm not going to spoil why. So
You just really hype me up on all these oak trees, and then you drop the bomb. That
Oh
they're not-
yeah, big
they're
problem.
not growing as well.
Big problem. And that's what Moser is trying, or Chris is trying to kind of help with. So that's what his work was kind of focusing on, and removing these shade-tolerant trees and planting these oaks. And today he's planted 1,110 trees on just this 12-acre woodlot. So very impressive.
Gosh.
And Chris is hoping through winning this award that it encourages other people that have small woodlots, especially maybe some farmers who have small woodlots, to start managing themselves and really getting serious about oak reestablishment. And then also he'll be hosting a tour on the tree farm, which is set to take place on September 6th. So to read more about, this and why oak trees aren't really doing well, you can go online or, read the paper.
Or pick up the paper because it'll be in our giant issue this week.
Yeah, we have a huge, huge issue.
Yes. Okay, let's see. What's next here? The Guernsey County Fair. There's a lot of fair news this week. There's also, as a side note, the results for 4 fair sales in the paper this week, along with several fair stories. So this one's about the Guernsey County Fair. They are holding a combine demolition derby for the first time ever.
Wow, that's
and they
cool.
want people to come and watch and cheer them on. They have brought in 10 drivers from around the state who have experience with combine demo derbies because it's sort of a specialized thing, I guess. And they're just sort of trying to build up the event since this is the first year. And while demolition derbies with cars are pretty common, there's only a handful of fairs in Ohio that do it with combines. And then this is the more interesting part to me. I mean, obviously combines running into each other, pretty cool. I've never seen it, but I can just imagine. But after the combine demo derby, it's going to be followed by a school bus demolition derby. So the Fair Board bought 4 buses, one for each school district in the county, and the buses were decorated by the students from the schools. And there are going to be cheering sections in the stands for each of the schools, and some students are going to ride on the buses before the derby to like pump everybody up. And according to one of the Fair Board members, the schools didn't put up any money for this. It was just a way for the fair to sort of give back to the community and increase school spirit and give the winning school bragging rights.
Wow, that's kind of fun though.
It is super fun. I really like that. I mean, the combine derby, that's the big one, but also I think this is a really neat way to engage the community.
Yeah.
So the fun begins at 7 p.m. on September 10th at the Geauga County Fairgrounds. And that's all I got for fair news, and that's all I got for all of my news. What else do you got, Liz?
Well, freelance reporter Patrick Coley wrote about United Dairy's new milk processing machine that was recently installed to sell more of its products in schools, prisons, hospitals, and nursing homes.
Nice.
Yeah, the company started using the new machine in its first week of August at its Martins Ferry plant in Ohio, which produces 4 to 8 ounce cartons of milk. The milk machine is part of a $2.3 million investment by United Dairy, which was also split between economic development companies.
That's a lot of money
as well. Yeah, lots
for a
of money.
milk machine.
Yeah, well, it was split between some economic development companies. He didn't go into where else that might, like if it was used for anything else from United Dairy, but the machine apparently will help operations just be more efficient at the plant, as the current milk processing machine is just prone to breakdowns. United Dairy also hopes the machine will allow the company to work with more farmers, but they did note, however, that they cannot comment on whether that will happen yet. Currently the United Dairy works with 240 farmers across the Midwest and Eastern United States.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of farmers. So
that's nice. Really great local impact.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Cool.
But yeah, that is all the news we have for this week, everyone.
Wait, one more thing, everyone. So I mentioned we'll be at the Geauga County Fair. We will also be have a booth or a table at the Canfield Fair this week in Mahoning County. And that starts on August 27th and runs through Labor Day, September 1st. So if you're going to the fair this weekend, the holiday weekend, come see us at Geauga County or the Canfield Fair. And I will be at the Canfield Fair on Saturday for the truck and tractor pulls.
Yeah.
So if you find me, say hello in a nice way.
Yeah, say hello to Rachel.
And be polite, because I'll be with my children and my husband.
Aw, that's fun. Family fun at the Canfield Fair.
Yeah, it's really great.
Awesome.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Okay, so
Awesome.
That's it. That's really it for this week.
Awesome.
Check it out online.
Yeah.
farmanddairy.com. Check it out on newsstands when it hits on August 28th.
Awesome. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys.
Yep.
See you next week.